Hello everyone, welcome to the new video session. Today we are going to discuss some questions on linear arrangement. Linear arrangement is an important topic in puzzles, which we will get 15 to 20 questions from puzzles in PO and clerical prelims examination. So let's move into the questions. 8 persons P, Q, R, S, T, U, V and W sit in a straight line. All are facing towards north, but not necessarily in the same order. This means 8 persons are sitting in a row and they all are facing north direction. The following information is known about them. P sits adjacent to both V and W, which means V sits either to the left or immediately right of P. If V sits to the immediate left of P, then W must sit to the immediate right of P. And if V sits to the immediate right of P, then W sits to the immediate left of P. Either W or R sits adjacent to T, who sits at an end. So we should draw the arrangement first. 8 people are sitting in a row. So here T sits at an end, which means T can sit either at the extreme left or at the extreme right end. We have two cases. T sitting to the extreme right end and T sitting at the extreme left end. Here either W or S sits adjacent to T. W or R. W or R sit adjacent to T. S sits to the immediate right of W. Here in this case P sitting to the immediate right of W. So this is an invalid case. And in this case S can be sit here. So this is a valid case. Neither W nor U sit adjacent to R. Here W cannot sit to the adjacent of T because W is sitting in between P and S. So R must sit to the adjacent to T. Neither W nor U sit adjacent to R. So we do not have W and U here. Not have W nor U here. Neither V nor U sits at an end and both are not adjacent to each other. V and U cannot be seated here, and in this case V and U cannot be seated. So we should consider this in the arrangement. V, P, W, S sit consecutively. So we cannot have V here. Let us consider V sitting here. V, P, W and S. If we consider this, U cannot be seated any of the remaining positions. So this is an invalid. If we consider V here, V, P, W, S, U cannot sit here, but it is also mentioned that V and U cannot sit adjacent to each other, so that U cannot sit here. So this case gets eliminated. So we have only one case, which is this. If we consider V here, V, P, W, S, U can be placed here and Q will sit at this position. So this is the final arrangement. Let us move to the questions. Who sits to the immediate right of P? W is sitting to the immediate right of P, which is option 2. If R and S interchange their positions, then how many percent sits to the right of S? Here, if R and S interchange their position, let's take that arrangement. T and here R is interchanged with S, V, P, W, R, U, Q. How many percent sits to the right of S? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6% sit to the right of S. Again, moving to the next question. 4 of the following are alike in a certain way and so forms a group. Find the one that does not belong to that group. First, T, P. T and P. There are 2% sitting in between T and P. V, S. There are 2% sitting in between V and S. W, U. W, U. There is only 1% sitting in between W and U. So, this might be the possible answer. But let's check option 4 and option 5 also. R and W. There are 2% sitting between R and W, and P and U. There are 2% sitting between P and U. So, the answer is W and U. Let's move to the next set. Certain number of persons are sitting in a row facing north. The following information is known about them. Here we do not have the total number of people sitting in the row and all are facing in the north direction. So, in this type of problems, we should not fix our arrangement and we should extend our arrangement according to the given clues. Q sits 3 places away from S and second to the right of V. Here 3 places, which means there are 2 gaps between Q and S, and it is not mentioned the direction in which Q is sitting with respect to S. So, let us consider Q is sitting to the right of S. Q sits to the right of S. And in another case, let us consider Q is sitting to the left of S. And there are 2 gaps between S and Q. Here, and second to the right of V, which means Q sits second to the right of V. So, V should be sitting here, and in this case, V is sitting here. S and V does not sit adjacent to each other. So, if we see this case, S and V are sitting adjacent to each other. So, this case gets eliminated. P sits to the immediate right of V. Here P sits to the immediate right of V, which is in between V and Q. 3% sits between P and T. It is not mentioned in which direction T is sitting with respect to P. So, if we consider T is sitting in the right direction of P, then there is already 3% sitting between P and S. So, that T should be sitting to the left of P, which is 3% is sitting in between P and T. The number of persons who sits between V and T is the same as the number of persons who sit to the right of S. Here, the number of sitting between V and T, there are 2% sitting between V and T, is the same as the number of persons who sit to the right of S, which means 2% is sitting to the right of S, and this is the extreme right end. Extreme right end. R sits exactly between T and P. Exactly between means equidistance from both T and P. Here, if R sits immediate left of V, which is the equidistance from T and equidistance from P. U sits 3 places away from R and sits at an extreme, which means if U sits to the right of R, then U cannot sit at the extreme end. So, U must be sitting to the left of R, which is 3 places away, which means two gaps are in between U and R, which U must be placed here, and this is the extreme left end. How many persons are sitting in the row? Let us count how many persons are sitting in the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 people sitting in the row, which is option 4. What is the position of R with respect to Q? 1 position to the left, 2 positions and 3 places. R is sitting 3 places away from Q in the left direction, which means third to the left. Which of the following statements is definitely true? T sits to the immediate right of U. Yes, T is sitting to the immediate right of U. 2% sit between U and T. No, there is no person sitting between U and T. Only 2% sit to the right of S. Yes, only 2% are sitting to the right of S. So that more than one of the above, which is choice 4. So join our social media channels like Telegram, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and by using the links given in the description box. To enroll for T.I.M.E online classes, please visit the website t4e.info/bankssc online. For offline classes, do visit our nearest T.I.M.E centers. Thank you.